But they've been trying now for sort of 2 days, and it's obviously a difficult situation. You've got a very long ship, 400 meters, in a very narrow canal, 200 meters. It ran aground. It can't just be backed off for obvious reasons. So it's a pretty complex engineering exercise to be able to get the ship back on the water. Hopefully it'll work this time, but previous attempts have not been successful so far. Worst case is they're going to have to unload the ship in situ to get it light enough to pull off. And that's obviously going to be a significant effort and take quite a bit more time. So I suppose everyone really is hoping for the best.
Now, it's really incredible, isn't it, the level of disruption this has caused in just a few days. Why is so much world trade dependent on this apparently very narrow and shallow strip of water? And should ships that big be going through it?
Well, part of the problem is if you look at the global map, the only alternative of going through the canal is to go way south and round the Cape, which coming to Europe is about 30% longer, 10 days longer. So it's obviously economically very beneficial to go through the Suez Canal, which of course is why it was built in the first place. But at the time it was built, we didn't have anything like 400-meter long ships. So if you like, we're now seeing the consequences of the evolution of shipping in a different timescale to the evolution of the shipping routes it takes. So that one point of contact, and there are a few others around the world, is very significant exactly because it is that vital shortcut on trade routes that really matter coming from east to west.
Well, it is a vital shortcut, so a bit of a simple question perhaps, but why can't they make it bigger and wider? Is that possible?
Well, they are actually trying in the various parts of the canal where there are now sort of an alternative channel next to the original channel. Unfortunately, the Ever Given ran aground right at one of the points where there is no alternative. I mean, over time, I'm sure we will see development of a secondary channel or widening of the channel. But if you think about the kind of engineering effort involved in doing that, it's a non-trivial task. It has been being developed for many years. And I think this has just shown how necessary it is to have an alternative.
So what exactly will they be trying to do later today? And what if it doesn't work?
Well, they're hoping the combination of sort of the water level at the time they're trying to do it and using the tugs sort of as a group to try and get the bow of the ship out of the sandbank that it's embedded in, get the ship back to more of a floating state, gradually turn it round so they can move it forward. If it doesn't work, it means they're going to have to continue the exercises to remove the sand around the front, the bow and the stern of the ship. They're going to have to bring in probably even more tugs to try and get more power involved in pulling and turning the ship. Ultimately, they're going to have to consider cranes to take containers off the ship to make it lighter, to try and float it higher so that eventually they can get it back on board. I mean, I think there's a lot of concern that as they are trying to move the ship, there are possibilities things could get worse. I mean, if you damage the ship in such a way that it can't refloat, or if you have containers sort of destabilized, then that would make it an even longer process to get back to normality. And as you said, every day that goes by, this is a very expensive proposition.